me and Shane's thoughts on the Cabinets of Curiosities that we have seen so far. Now, currently, I have seen episodes 1 through 3. If you follow me on Twitter, if you don't, you should. My @name is right down there. Is my handle, @KeatonToothman. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I have been tweeting a little bit about Cabinets of Curiosity. I seen Gilmore tweet about it, that it's sitting at like a 91%, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes, which is amazing, and I'm happy for the success of this, obviously. I love these little horror-type anthology things that kind of bring me back to my what set me in this chair today, which is, the Twilight Zone and all those things like that. So had a lot of excitement going into this series. Me and my beautiful, lovely wife and daughter went to Colorado last week, so we weren't here for the show, but while we were there, I had some time in the hotel to sit around with nothing going on, and I thought, hey, it's a good time to throw on this Cabinets of Curiosity. We're getting towards the end of October, and I want to check this out while I can. So I did. First episode has Tim Blake Nelson in it, who I love. He plays the leader in the MCU. He's a great actor. He's very underappreciated and maybe even underrated. The episode was very intriguing at moments, but overall, I did not enjoy the episode. I feel like it fell apart the longer it went on, and the more they tried to get into what was going on, the more it fell apart, which is like the opposite of what you want a story to do, right? A second episode, I come in, I'm thinking, okay, slow start. This thing still got good reviews, so I'm guessing it's going to pick up. Second episode was the episode with the rats at the funeral home. Man, again, had lots of intriguing parts and things that I really wanted to enjoy about it. But overall, the longer it went on, the more I felt it fell apart. It just became a little too silly, I think, and unbelievable, which is not what you want in something like, again, if you think of something like The Twilight Zone, almost everything there is so unbelievable, but still believable, where this does not do that. I don't believe... I don't want to spoil anything about the show, or the episode, but overall, I didn't love it. So that was it. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm on vacation. The last thing I want to do is watch a bunch of shit. So I didn't watch it anymore. I got home just a few days ago. Last night I did a late night show with Lucas because I felt bad that I hadn't put anything up for anyone in a while. So beforehand, I decided, you know what? Fine. I'm going to throw on the third episode because the reviews are still good, so maybe it's going to get better. And, man, I started into this episode wanting to hate it because of how much I hated what it do. And, God, I love this episode. This episode really reinvigorated my want to continue to watching it. Shane, as you know, and most of you, the channel should know, if you don't, I have some sort of weird obsession with isolation and being isolated and away from things and away from people. And yeah, this definitely did that. We had the guy with the bodies in the warehouse by himself. Oh, if there's no phone, but there's a gas station down the road and the phone works there. Like, come on, man. This is amazing. This is the exact setup I want. It's creepy. It's silent. It's old school. You got the tape recorder that you hit with your feet and it's on reels. Like everything about it I thought was really cool. The actor's name, Shane, help me.
Murray Abraham.
Yeah, Murray. Oh my God!
Incredible.
Amazing performance. I legitimately believe that dude's dying of cancer. Mm-hmm. He was great. And the guy that played the officer, I don't know who that was either. But at first, Shane, when he first popped up, I was like, "That's Donald Glover." Like, just for a second, Danny Glover. I was like, that's Danny Glover. Just for a second, I was like, that's Danny Glover. But no. But yeah, he was great too. And it turned out to be, as I kind of thought. I will say that the one maybe critique I would have about it is that I was able to kind of pull what the thing was of the show I kind of guessed in the beginning, but not in its entirety. And it was, like I was telling Shane, very much like The Thing in a way. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It kind of hit everything that I want, in something scary. It was also like that perfect length to where it felt kind of like a short film or a short movie, but it wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. I really loved the length of it a lot. And I love the ending. It ended, and as it went on, it wrapped things up as it went on, which is like the opposite of what the first two were doing. Again, as it was going on, it just was unraveling itself and making it more unbelievable and saying, what is this and what's going on? But this did the opposite, and I really, really enjoyed this episode. So 3 episodes in, I think this is an 9 episode series. Like I said, it did reinvigorate me. I'm going to check out the next episode today. Hopefully, I can get Shane. It doesn't sound like he's too interested, but maybe I can get him to check out a couple more. But if not, I'm definitely going to let you guys know my thoughts moving forward on this series because it's getting a lot of good reviews and praise. And Guillermo did a lot of work to go out of his way to make sure these great horror directors and producers of great horror content were able to bring their own real thing to each and every one of these episodes, whether they be good or not. I think that in itself is really cool. As a huge fan of horror, I love that, and I want to see more things like that. So yeah, but that's kind of my take on it. Shane, you've had a chance to check out, I believe you said 1 and 3. Somehow you managed to skip around 2, you lucky bastard. But yeah, tell me, man, what are your thoughts? Tell me what you're thinking about this whole thing.
Well, first of all, the production quality and the direction is top notch. Yeah. I mean, they're incredible looking. I really like the whole idea of the Cabinet of Curiosity and how Guillermo sets it up, very Hitchcockian, but, each cabinet has its own differences. And, it also applies to the show, so it's kind of like that Twilight Zone type motif. So, they've honored a lot of traditions here, so I did enjoy that. And I also like the first. I watched 1 and 3. So the first one is Lot 36 or something. I think that's what it's called, where he buys a storage unit. Yeah. And I thought the setup was great. I thought the atmosphere was good. But I was like with you. I thought after a while, not only did it get silly, but I'm not a big fan of people spoon-feeding information to me. Right. I like the act of discovering. Right. And I think that we got that with the third one. I thought that's what made the third one so much more appealing, was the discovery rather than, hey, here's this information. Right. And so by the end of it, the first episode, you kind of saw the ironic twist coming, because it was like, God, they beat me over the head so many times as this guy's a bad guy. He's a racist. He shouldn't be sympathized with. He's got to have some comeuppance. Right. So we knew by the end that twist, it was like, okay, we kind of saw that coming. And I also thought by the time, like when we first discover, again, I don't want to do any spoilers, but they go into this room and they discover this thing, very Lovecraftian, very a Cthulhu type creature, which I thought was cool. And I found out that the 5th episode is also based on a Lovecraft episode. Oh wow! Yeah. So you could tell that H.P. Lovecraft is very influential to this series. So if you're a H.P. Lovecraft fan, definitely check this stuff out. But I also thought by the time they showed the monster and it's going down the hallway, I was laughing. It was just like.
And that's what I was saying. It became silly. Yeah, for sure.
So, it kind of took some of that fear away. So, honestly, I wasn't sure I was going to keep going with this series. But I was like, it's an anthology. Let me at least give me one more taste. I saw that F. Murray Abraham was in Autopsy. I watched that one. I'm a huge fan of him, especially in Amadeus. He is astounding in that movie. So I put that on, and it was much better. It was what I was looking for. Again, it was kind of this mysterious, you gather clues. What am I in for? Right. And again, the performances were great.
Yeah, right.
I'm really the only deterrent and big caution for everyone. These episodes are graphic.
Yeah, that's something that I didn't mention, Shane, and it's something we didn't talk about at all. And I was curious to get your take on, because I know you're not a big fan of the body horror, but that third episode really brought it, right?
I looked over to my wife and I was like, when this episode has more body horror than the new Hellraiser episode does, maybe there's an imbalance. I
felt like I was watching Oh, what's his name that I like?
Cronenberg?
Yeah, I felt like I was
David
watching
Cronenberg.
a Cronenberg film. Like I mean, there was and I forgot to mention this in my take, but yeah, there was points where it's so again. I think literally the balance of the actor, right, is what made you be able to handle it. Well, because he was so, I'm sorry, I have to do this to you.
It was definitely the performance that kept you going, and like with Cronenberg, his body horror is at least original. This was just an autopsy. It was just very scientific. Yeah. And I felt like I had this problem with the first episode too. It feels almost like they feel like, this isn't scary. Okay, then we need something disturbing. And so, by the time the last autopsy, again, I don't want to spoil anything, right, but when he's conducting that one, all the shock of that had already been gone because I just saw him dissect 3 previous bodies. So it almost kind of desensitized me. I almost wish they would have, saved the more disturbing imagery for the big climax rather than kind of sprinkle it through. Because like I said, the first time you see him open up and he's snipping the ribs and you hear that, you're just like, oh my God. What am I watching?
Yeah, right.
But by the time when that's supposed to be tension, because you find out something by the end, right, by that point it kind of lost its tension because it was like, this is like the 4th or 5th body I've seen inside.
Sure.
No big deal anymore. So I really feel like they could have held back on some of the more disturbing stuff for that climax. That was the only complaint I had about it. Was that it's just sometimes when they felt like maybe it's a little slow, let's go with some shock.
Yeah. Well, I mean, moving forward, do you think you would give another episode of this a try?
I do because, like I said, episode 5 is based on a short story by Lovecraft. That's super
cool. That sounds, yeah.
And The Outside has Kate Micucci and Martin Starr in it, and I'm big fans of both of those. So.
And I know you're a big fan or know who Rupert Grint is, but that's the kid who played Ron Weasley.
Okay.
And he's like kind of been retired from acting for a while, so it's very interesting. It will be interesting to see him back as well.
Nice. And
some of these other actors. Yeah, I'm a huge Martin Starr fan. Who doesn't like Martin Starr? So
yeah, and I saw Crispin Glover's in Pickman's Model. I mean, that guy's so weird.
Where's that dude been?
Well, I mean, he's just too weird to work with. I mean, so I have to see him.
He's like pre-canceled. They're like, we don't want to have to cancel him, but we know we're gonna. So let's just not use him.
Well, when you steal the show in a David Lynch movie, you got to be out there. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, so hopefully you give it another chance and you'll check a couple more episodes out. I think I'll check at least 4 out tonight. Maybe that's something we could do is check one out every couple of days and just talk about the newest episode that we have currently seen. So yeah, but yeah, other than that, guys, what are your guys' thoughts on the Cabinet of Curiosity? I'm sure if any of you guys have seen it, you guys have probably binged it all and seen it all. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think. I mean, are you guys liking it? What's your favorite episode? Did you hate the first couple? Did you like episode 3 like I did? I'll be very curious to see what you guys think. So definitely let us know down in the comment section below.